everybody. This is Meredith Miller with Inner Integration. Today, we need to have the change talk. I want to talk about one of the most dangerous mentalities that you can have in life, which is hoping that another person will change so that they'll respect you, so that they'll value you, so that they will appreciate you, so that they will prioritize you, so that they'll love you, or just so that they'll be more compatible with you in general. This is called toxic hope, and you could waste a lifetime in this. There's a Colombian author named Walter Rizzo who says, in life and in love, sometimes the first thing that you have to lose is hope. So that toxic hope could end up sucking your life force away, and it's much more healthy to focus on being realistic. One of the most common debates that I hear among survivors and experts in this field is whether or not narcissists can change. So I want to talk about a couple different aspects of this. The first one being, are narcissists capable of change? That's a debate that I constantly see people writing in comments and bringing up in other forums. And the reality is that they can change their behaviors sometimes and temporarily, but they cannot change their personality. Their personality is what it is. Their brain is hardwired to be who they are. And what will happen is you might see some changes in behavior, but inevitably that personality comes back out. What will also happen, since you're dealing with a manipulator, is they will fake the change. Usually what they'll do is become more sophisticated, more subtle with the abuse, and you won't realize what's happening at first until you notice that your health is failing, that you feel like you're going crazy, that you're losing more and more of your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-respect to maintain that relationship. And they will inevitably revert to who they are. I see that false hope promoted by other survivors and experts who either have personality disorders or are caught in the fantasy that these people actually can change. The second part of that debate is what will happen is when the person is going through the cognitive dissonance, when they're in the denial and they don't really want to face the fact that this person is a narcissist or the personality disorder, then they'll revert to, well, maybe they really aren't. Maybe they really aren't a narcissist. So what I want to suggest is to remove the personality disorder from the equation, and let's just focus on people in general. The presumption that someone or anyone will change is not realistic. We are who we are. We're adults. People are who they are. And to expect someone else to change is actually disrespectful. So even if their behavior is disrespectful, your desire for them to change is disrespectful as well. People can change, but they don't usually change because people like who they are. People like the way that they live. And it's actually controlling for you to try to get in there and force someone else to change, even if the way you're framing it is that it's based on wanting to help them, wanting to love them. That's still disrespectful. I want to encourage you to stop the if-onlys. So if you're in a relationship with someone, or this could even be a family member, a job you have, someone at work, anyone in your life really, and you're like, everything's great, if only they didn't do that, if only they weren't like that. As soon as you hear that clause, if only, that's when you know that you're indulging in toxic hope. So look at that person and imagine if they never changed at all. A year down the road, 5 years down the road, would you still want to be with that person? The need to humanize a person in the worst case scenario when you're dealing with a predator, or the need to mature someone in the best case scenario when you're dealing with a regular human who simply lacks maturity, is going to lead you to intense psychological frustration, which is going to lead you eventually to health problems, to feeling like you're going crazy, to a loss of self-esteem, to a sense of desperation, and a loss of self and authenticity as you adapt yourself to try to keep making that relationship work. So let me simplify this whole topic for you. Okay, expecting someone to change is like me expecting my hair to be straight in this environment where there's a lot of heat and humidity. It's not going to happen. I can use a hairdryer, I can use some tools, I can use some products, and it'll go straight for a few minutes. But the moment I step outside in that humility, I'm back to this extremely curly hair again. The bottom line is, if you have to choose between your self-worth and a relationship, pick your self-worth 100% of the time. Now, if you still want to pick the relationship over your self-worth, that means you need to work on rebuilding your self-worth. That means take a look at your values. You need to identify what your values are, what really matters to you, both in life, in relationships, or in whatever aspect of your life that person happens to appear. Then you want to create new standards based on those values that protect those values. And then you're going to create new boundaries that protect those standards. Putting those boundaries into place and enforcing them when they're tested will help you raise your self-worth. The stronger your self-worth gets, the more you're going to be able to pick that self-worth over any relationship or any person that shows up in your life, or even someone that's been in your life, like a family member. You can't control someone else. You can't love them into changing, into humanizing themselves or maturing themselves. You can only focus on yourself and on increasing your virtue. Virtue in Chinese medicine is about your inner power, your inner character, in developing integrity. And as you develop that virtue inside yourself, which is the only thing you have control over, you'll be able to let them go so that you can move forward. I'm sending you a big hug.